Okay, so I want to take you on a journey with me and creating this painting. As you can see, I started out, I wanted to do a crow in front of the moon, and I had all sorts of ideas. I wanted to do like this geometric mandala type pattern behind the bird and the moon, and then I kind of wanted to make it look like stained glass, so I started doing this stuff here, and ultimately I didn't really like it, so I painted over it, as you can see here. And then I colored him in a little bit darker, and I'm still trying to figure out what to do with the outside around the moon. I wanted to bring his highlights out a little more, darken him up even a little bit more. And then I thought, okay, well, I'll actually start drawing in a mandala pattern. And then I decided, no, I don't like that. So I started painting purple sky around him. And at this point, I don't know if it's a crow or a raven, but I've been calling him Kevin the Crow. So anyway, then I took it into my Procreate and I started overlaying one of my other geometric paintings over him to get an idea of what I wanted to do with him. So I kept adding more purple here until the purple wound up really darker than I wanted it to be. So I took like a wet rag and I started to try and wash some of the darkness off, and then it got all goopy over where I had covered up the painting prior, the stained glass look. So then I started working on a gradient, and I kind of got this gradient here that I was pretty happy with at the time. And then I decided, okay, well, I'm going to put some sacred geometry behind the moon, and maybe it'll look like moon rays coming off of it or something. So here I am working on painting out this pattern around the moon. And then here it is when it's all said and done. And at this point, I thought it looked kind of cool, but I also didn't like it. I didn't like that it was like, had that lighter band around the bottom. I didn't like that it didn't fill the whole canvas. So then I decided to create a whole pattern around it and darken the whole thing up. And at this point, I hated it. I thought it was too dark. I didn't like the way the patterns went together. And so I tried to sand it down and then paint it all over it again and got to this gradient here, which is where I am at now. The problem is that now I've got this pattern that you can just barely see under the surface, and I can't decide how I feel about that. My sister said she thought it was actually kind of cool looking. She thinks it sort of looks like a watermark, and I'm like, okay, I can see that. That could maybe be cool to someone, but I'm not really sure I'm satisfied with it. So anyway, I started working on the moon and putting some patterns on the moon, and then I still needed to work on the feathers that kind of come out on the beak. And I still wanted to fill him in and make him look darker and more painted in. And so just doing some of the feather details here around the beak, and this is proof that anybody can paint, because I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of trying to figure it out as I go, and then boom, look at that. I can't even believe I did that. Kevin's looking really good. I still might need to do a little work on those little feet there. I'm not sure I'm happy with those. And I want to add texture to the tree as well. Make it look a little old and cracked and not so cartoonish. But I can't decide if I need to paint over this gradient to try and even out that pattern, or if I should just kind of keep the gradient as is, texture out the tree, fix the feet a little, and be done. I don't know. What are your thoughts?